What's up guys, it's Talon here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how you can improve your W keying skills by analyzing one of EU's best fighters, and that is Vidil. But before I get into this VOD review guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Also, I recently just got my supporter creator code in the Fortnite item shop. If you want to support me that way, use code TALON.FN #ad. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, as you can see on the screen we have Vidil's POV. No surprise, he is going to be landing at the Spire. This video is actually a back-to-back gameplay of multiple double-digit eliminations, around 30 plus kills, so a lot to learn, a lot to go over, but let's just jump right in here. We're landing Spire, not a surprise starting off. We have a great makeshift and very little mats. Good crosshair placement gets a quick, easy elimination. Now this has kind of been a huge theme this season that I've seen even from playing myself. People absolutely love to bush rat with primals, with whatever weapons really, trying to get to Champions Division. You cannot trust a single bush. He plays this kind of weirdly, sitting up at range and then just kind of jumps in 50-50. Ends up getting 20 HP. Probably wouldn't recommend playing like that. I would maybe do protect and chop for a bush. We go to a mid-game fight at Risky. You're going to see him get in here with confidence. The opponent having no idea how broken the mythic shotgun is. You can see the opponent gets melted with looking at least 150 HP. And he gets a nice refresh. Exactly what he needed. But you see preference for the spaz right here. Pickaxe baits. Spraying through cone slides.
Also du bist so cool, Mann. Ich wäre gern so cool wie du. Mann, hätte ich aim, würde ich einfach reinspringen.
Yes, Vidil is Jurin.
Oh, er ist so viel besser als CGX-Jet.
He's kind of slow playing this opponent, to be honest. Good preemptive piece control and angle. Right hand peek. Escape route, we talk about it. EU's...
Alter, Junge, du bist so gut in dem Spiel.
EU players are just excellent at fighting. You can see that right here. Now, you're going to see this particular engagement take a significant amount of time. He's going to kind of sit here on high ground. He sees the opponent trying to pop a medkit, and all he does is pressure, 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 pressure. He sits here not going in the storm. It's probably going to still be a one tick. That's probably why this opponent is electing to kind of sit here and storm. But notice the pressure is non-stop. This is incredibly important. So always continue to pressure your opponents, not just sit there stagnant, not do anything. Tries to get preemptive piece control here, doesn't get it. Double swings, the opponent does make the edit, but he's too quick, and they trade. And Vidil's crossfire placement with a 170 headshot tag. Moving over into Pleasant Park here. Here's this opponent building, the classic. Now this is a very interesting technique that he does. Pickaxe baits. Guy's still a crack, tries to get preemptive piece control. Mitro Classic doesn't get in. Notice his crosshair following him the entire time, in case he makes any edits. Tries to Mitro Classic in here, and then smartly places a ramp to protect himself. It's just awareness where his opponent is. Tries to get it. Now this opponent actually has very, very low P. You see him kind of tap firing the Scar, kind of doing what's like a Clix exploit to kind of shoot through, and the timing, it's not just brain dead spraying. Opponent only hits him from around 29 or 30. It's a beautiful right-hand peek. He gets it, and then he gets the spray through. Notice that wide edit. Let's just kind of take a look at the back half of that entire engagement, because the back half of that engagement is really interesting. I haven't seen this very common with this just kind of little tap fryer. Most of the time, it's just kind of blindly spraying through. But this is the first VOD review where I've seen someone kind of use this little AR tap. Tap, tap. I've seen that. That's more of like a Clix jump in exploit. He's already cracked him for a little bit. But he's trying to tap, 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 and get in. He realizes that he can be boxed here. He kind of scuffs up mechanically. The opponent tries to take his cone, or actually tries to take his wall. He holds and immediately edits out. And then resets the cone. Beautiful shot right here. And then notice a wide edit right here. Right? Because the opponent's cracked off shield is super weak. We've already hit him for 160 without him having any opportunity to heal. Apologize, guys. There was an ad. Let's move on to this next engagement. We see him popping a med kit. Makes a decision for high ground, high wall. Very nice right there. A Dimmadome to pimp. The opponent goes underneath. Good recognition that the opponent's going to go there. And immediately, once this opponent starts building, he's not super reinforced. So Vidil is going to kind of chop down, placing cones. He ends up accidentally catching the opponent. But placing more and more cones, the opponent has to stay on the same layer, edits him down, cracks him,
Das ist auch so schlecht von mir,
wins.
aber er ist aber noch schlechter. Er wird mit DJs es auch nicht.
Go into this next engagement just now with 7 eliminations.
Was ist das denn?
Tries to attempt it for me 4 HP, probably didn't realize. Good spray through, and that's where it's aggressive. Spraying through wildly, then getting a wall to protect himself. He just 50-50s ends with the cracked shield. And ends up finishing the fight very, very, very quickly. Not much to say on that particular engagement, to be honest. Just kind of 50-50 in there and one with pre-fight damage. Now, Stinkfish, I've talked about this in my tips and tricks videos, that Stinkbow Stinkfish is incredibly useful for getting a ton of pre-fight damage and getting your opponents to rebox. That's why you want to set up on a right-hand peak. Metro Classics in right here, and more of this kind of tap firing, just very, very precise. And we've seen it in a lot of VOD reviews. Most people just kind of wildly spray through. This is just very interesting to me because I've not seen anybody else really do this on walls. He sets up here beautifully on a right-hand peak, and see, like, you can kind of see the thing that gets him in trouble here. He forces a rebox with the Stinkfish, gets a bunch of, and that's what's swacking a bunch in a row with a pickaxe. It'll usually get you cracked, but fortunately the opponent only hits a little bit shot, and he ends up trading the wall out. That's what can be on this kind of arc peak, and gets a nice wide edit. Cracks him, hits him for 140, uses a Metro Classic to exploit in. Opponent makes an edit. It's actually really fortunate. But if you're just wildly spraying through as opposed to kind of crosshair placement again, spray tap firing the AR, I kind of like it. I think it's a safe way, especially when the opponent is super weak. If you're going to do it, it'll maybe bait the opponents into opening up because it's like, oh, it's just AR spraying, and then you get 1 or 2 tags, especially with the gold scar. It's really good. I thought it was really one unique aspect of this VOD review that I haven't really seen in hundreds and hundreds of VOD reviews. You're going to see now he actually upgrades to a stink bow. You're going to see him use that a little bit later. Good wall. Crack 124. Boom, boxes him like a fish. Ends the fight. Piece control. Always important. Always fantastic. We're at 10 eliminations. Cracks this opponent right here. Immediate cone slide. Notice takes the time to take the cone. Doesn't allow the opponent to edit down. And then you're going to see a nice little Stinkbow elimination. You'll kind of get gifted this, but this is always...
Ich hab ihn mit dem Stinkebow getötet.
He says has killed him with a Stinkbow. And you're going to see him use it at the end as well. Now we're in an end game. This opponent is just kind of like vibing. I don't know. It's kind of strange that there's 4 other people. With this being good, pre-box attempt goes out to the side. The opponent edits down. Easy crack. Predicts where he's going to try and go. Sees the opponent take a fish. He Metro Classics in and cone slides immediately. That technique is masterful, and everyone needs to have this in their repertoire. Vidil is going to be a low ping player, but it doesn't matter, right? We're going to watch just here in slow motion the importance of the Metro Classic and then maximizing it with piece control, because again, we don't want our opponents getting a ramp and turning it into an awkward situation. So like we said, we see this crack here. He recognizes his opponent's going to go to the left. The opponent immediately boxes up and actually goes a different way. Vidil is on there, hurry. He notices the opponent's building out of wood. He knows the wall is going to be one tap, so he immediately pickaxes the wall, places a ramp behind him, cracks, and then immediately gets that cone to keep the opponent on the same layer. And it's GG's. Ends that fight incredibly fast after getting those huge cracks, and that's really important in game with moving zones. Apologize, guys, there was an ad. Now we see this opponent right here,
Let's go.
who ends up dying to the zone. And then you're going to see him just kind of bully this last opponent on low ground, having 400 mats.
Tens and tens! Oh my god,
And
60.
he's getting
Einmal kurz den Bogen antippen.
60.
Tick, tick, tick. Nochmal Bogen. Tick, tick, tick.
And see how frustrating this can be to deal with. The
360,
opponent's kind of
oh my
lost,
god.
and then 75
What
HP
is
just to finish.
Zone. Oh mein Gott.
Stinkbow is incredibly strong. You always want to maximize your bows. Now we're going to the next game. Piece control incredibly important, as you can see, and just a little bit of aimbot with the makeshift. Holy, absolutely fried. This is such a good recovery from Vidil. You're going to see right here. This opponent basically jump scares him, missed his shot. Notice the crosshair. He immediately switches to a harpoon to get out, boxes, cracks. Opponent absolutely fries the controller player, but beautiful peanut butter peek and escape. Good attempt at preemptive piece control right there. Nice little crack. Good attempt.
Nice.
This little Martaz ramp. You could do this to really scuff your opponents and prevent them from doing anything but taking 50-50. It's really good to do that in someone's box. 145 crack. Not much to say on this opponent. Nice cone slide right there. Right hand peek. Immediately dumping back to the left right here. This opponent is incredibly lost. But just a couple of things to just note in this particular engagement. So we saw the one where he kills the bunny character skin. Nothing too crazy to really talk about there, but I just kind of like the angles he takes in this particular engagement. So let's take a look. So you're going to see him set up on this wall, just kind of breaking it. He places a cone so the opponent can't edit out a ramp on him. He gets it one try, misses the shot, but then this spray through is important. Immediately cone slide, and then jumps back to the left to make sure he has an escape route. The opponent takes the wall back and takes the cone back. Vidil gets it back though. The opponent resets and is a little bit lost. But just that little jump back is so subtle, but it's important against really good players for you to have an escape out. Always when you're doing that peanut butter, you always want to follow it to the top left of the edit. So let's say, you know, if it's this way, you want to follow it that way, and that's exactly one, it hides you the whole way up, but two, it gives you an escape route back, and that's exactly what happened for Vidil there. The opponent's kind of caught looking lost, but just use that technique in your fights when you're doing peanut butter peaks and red hand peaks. 5 kills thus far, going into 6th engagement. Full box this his opponent and just dominates him. Piece control, full box, important. Preemptive piece control right here, misses the shot. Now this is the only time I feel like he could have been in trouble. And this is just kind of this is I don't know if he knew that opponent was weak. It's usually better to do when the opponent's weak, but it's this right here. This is sometimes you want to edit and get that preemptive piece control, because this is what happens. Oh, I miss a shot. Oh, it's a spray battle. I'm not a controller player. I don't hit a lot of shots, but then he eventually does get that escape route. If you know the opponent's weak, it's okay to kind of funnel in 50-50, because it's really not a 50-50 because you're at health advantage. But what can be problematic is if that opponent's super healthy and you do that and they crack you, you just create an unnecessary 50-50 even though you've taken the time to get the piece control. Gets that opponent, reads him right here.
Oh my
Good,
God,
beautiful pre-fire.
Twitch, bleed.
Good right hand peek right here, and look at that wide edit. That's so fast. That's such a good thing. No Riley, Vidil are masters of this type of edit. You'll see them do what I like to call the 6 tile this way, and they'd love to do the 6 tile this way. So you could say the vertical 6 tile and the horizontal 6 tile. It's so wide, it's so open, and they're on a protected right hand peek, as you can see. Notice how wide open is such an easy shot for him to hit, even though the opponent's at the back of the cone. And he's at right-hand peek advantage. The opponent has nowhere to go with that cone slide and that type of edit. So GG's. 10 kills here right here. Doesn't double swing right there. And that's exactly why it's smart to pickaxe bait. Immediately goes to a right-hand peek right there. Really smart. Double swings and then immediately escape route. Lets the opponent out. He almost read it perfectly. Sorry guys, there was an ad. Let's continue. Like I said, creating tons of escape route. This is right-hand peek. Beautiful. That places the cone and finishes the fight incredibly quickly. Sprang through with the P90, getting that cone.
Bitte W hier, bitte. Sprays einfach nur mit Scar, machst mich cracked und denkst du kannst W hin oder so.
That was incredibly smart from Vidil, getting that cone to capture him. Now you're going to see Vidil's aim on display here in this end game. Gets a free tag. And he's the only one here that, like, you notice how everyone is kind of so far at the back of zone. It was something I was definitely noticing, that it felt like the entire lobby hadn't rotated and Vidil was already up ahead.
Oh my God, sei doch nicht so cracked. The keys, chat. It's richtig cracked.
He tries to cut him off, and then he does here eventually. It's a nice little crack right here on this opponent's super weak. Cracks this opponent, and then crosshair placement and reads that the opponent's going to be there. Fantastic. Then we don't see how he gets to low ground, but he ends up frying him from low ground. And then we saw 2 high kill games from Vidil in this VOD review. I really was impressed. I like the unique tap fire with the Scar, trying to get in that way. We saw a lot of piece control, which is what we definitely expect with Vidil. In my opinion, Vidil is the best fighter in the world overall. I hope you guys also enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like on it, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.